Hi everyone, it's Wendy here from Wendy Wise Beauty. Thanks for stopping by and for visiting me again on my channel. Guys, today we have another Lattafa video. I did tell you guys I did quite a huge Lattafa haul and I have been sampling and wearing these fragrances for about a month, some of them maybe a bit more, and today I am going to review another 3 of these fragrances. I am doing this in batches because one video would be way too long. The first fragrance I am going to start with, this fragrance was for me a bit of a strange one. When I first tried this fragrance, you can say I was a bit angry because it was not behaving the way that I wanted it to. It was not what I expected. So it was as a result of this fragrance, I did a little bit of research and found out that Lattafa fragrances, especially when you get them in the mail from far away, they have to settle a bit. The fragrance that I am going to review first, this fragrance, it is called Musamam White Intense. This fragrance is relatively new, the White Intense version. This came out in 2023, the normal Musamam. This one is a bit older. Guys, I have gone ahead and I discarded the outside packaging, but this is packaged so beautifully. It says White Intense here. This is faux leather snake packaging and the fragrance is inside. And this is what the fragrance looks like, guys. This is so pretty, and the snake has these jewels in the eyes. The detailing, it is just stunning on this bottle. It is necessary to be careful when opening this because this does not remain shut. So if the fragrance is opened like this, it could fall out. Guys, when I got this fragrance, this bottle, it is even prettier in person than in the pictures. Lattafa does have awesome packaging, but sometimes in the pictures, the fragrances, the packaging can look quite cheap. However, they are normally not. So this is a very pretty bottle. It depends on taste. I do like it. This fragrance, it is making the rounds in social media. It is very hyped up. So I decided to go ahead and purchase this. It is this fragrance really which started this Lattafa haul. I do have a few Lattafa fragrances, but not many. I saw many reviews of this fragrance saying it is a white floral with a very strong sandalwood accord. And when I heard this, I went online, I looked at the fragrance notes, and I said, this is something I am going to love. By looking at the notes, it sounded like it would be similar to Songe, this one by Annick Goutal, with a bit more woody notes, and Songe, it is a bit of a heady fragrance, so I thought Musamam would be perfect. When I got this fragrance in the mail, I opened the packaging, I saw the bottle, I fell in love with the bottle, I sprayed the fragrance, and it was nothing like what I was expecting on my skin. This was a very linear fragrance with ylang ylang, coconut, and it was just not going anywhere. It was not transforming, it was very light, and I said to myself, oh my God, what is this? What are people talking about? So I started doing research, and I read that Lattafa fragrances, when you get them, you have to allow them to rest and macerate because the fragrances do change. So I was thinking at the time, the way this fragrance is at the moment, I can't imagine that this is gonna change in any way which is going to make me like this. When I gave this fragrance a rating about a month ago, prior to it macerating, I am looking at my notes and I gave this fragrance a note of 5, which is below average. Guys, after 2 weeks of allowing this fragrance to sit in a very cool place, I decided to try Musamam White Intense again. I was talking to one of my fragrance friends during the time that this fragrance was resting, and I was just like, this is so generic, I don't think this is gonna change. But after 2 weeks of sitting in a cool place, this fragrance was completely different and it resembled the notes and the fragrance that I was expecting to receive, because I was thinking, is this just the hype again online? And this fragrance is going to be a disappointment like a lot of hyped fragrances. It's not. By the way, this fragrance, it has a very fine spray. It is actually, I think this sprayer, it is very high quality. It doesn't gush, it just gives a fine mist. The opening of this fragrance, it's orange, bergamot and spices. Upon first spray, there is a bit of citrus mixed with spices, and then the opening, it lasts for quite a bit of time prior to the white florals starting to appear. The beautiful part of this fragrance, it is when the heart note kicks in. There is coconut, ylang ylang, there is ambroxan in this fragrance, and there are mahonial notes. But in the heart note of the fragrance, what really comes out, it is a beautiful tropical accord. It is the coconut in this fragrance combined with ylang ylang and some spices. When I first tried this fragrance prior to it macerating, it was just coconut and ylang ylang, but flat. There was no spice, there was no citrus. But after the fragrance, you can say, cured itself, this is absolutely beautiful. The base of this fragrance, it's sandalwood, musk and benzoin. Once the fragrance gets into the heart note, this very beautiful sandalwood accord mixes with the coconut and the ylang ylang. It keeps this tropical note in the heart of the fragrance from getting too sweet, and this is just heaven. It is really what I expected. What I love with this fragrance is that the coconut note, it is really present. I can smell it, and this beautiful sandalwood note, which gives this fragrance, you can say, a bit of an expensive touch. It is really a nice fragrance. Guys, when I tried this, I thought it was so weak, it was a bit watery. I was like, what is this? After a month, guys, this fragrance, it does have quite a bit of sillage, but good sillage. It is not bismuth, but it is a fragrance. When you wear it, there is a presence. The musk in the dry down of this fragrance, it is not too much. The sandalwood is really the note, sandalwood with whiffs of ylang ylang and coconut on the skin. I will start wearing this now due to the sandalwood accord, because the sandalwood is so present. I think this fragrance, it can be worn all year depending on where you are, but this is definitely one for the summer months. The sandalwood, it is not too intense where you would think it is more for cold weather. This is just beautiful. I am so happy that this fragrance did change so much because I was just so bummed out. I have such a beautiful bottle with a fragrance that I cannot wear. I have now given this fragrance an 8, which is for me a quality fragrance. It's worth picking up, and they really did a good job with this one. I will go ahead and throw this packaging away because it does not remain closed and I have no use for this, and I do intend to use this fragrance. It's not anything I would trade or sell, so I don't need this. I'm gonna get rid of that. By the way, list price, this is about $47, but then again, this is a Lattafa fragrance, so the price you will pay depends on where you buy it, eBay, online, or whether or not you buy it from Lattafa. I have noticed that some perfumeries and some sellers on eBay, when these fragrances are hyped on TikTok or Instagram, sometimes they are charging double the price for these fragrances. So please be careful, because this is one which is making the rounds at the moment. The next one on my list, this is a fragrance which is relatively new from Lattafa. It was released in 2023. This one, it is called Sandoz. And this is the packaging. Again, this is very pretty. It is a very tall bottle. The bottle is quite nice, and it does have the Lattafa logo on the top. The only issue I have with this bottle is that it is very tall, and I do keep my fragrances in a cabinet where it is cool, and then this is so tall that the shelves, it does not fit into the shelf, so I need to arrange some other space for this. But I think this bottle, it is very cool. This is what this looks like. It's quite elegant, actually. Sandoz, I would describe as a very, I would say it is a soapy floral. I have seen reviews where people are comparing this to La Vie est Belle, but La Vie est Belle by Lancôme, this has a lot more patchouli. The opening of Sandoz, it reminded me more of Gabrielle by Chanel, especially the Eau de Parfum version of Gabrielle. I tried it side by side with La Vie est Belle, and it was, for me, the two fragrances are quite different. This does not have this intense patchouli note that La Vie est Belle has. This is a lot cleaner, it is soapy. This has really, you can say, department store DNA. For me, this is a bit generic. Granted, I might be a bit biased. I am not very fond of very soapy fragrances. I mean, Gabrielle, I love Gabrielle, but it only reminds me of the opening. Gabrielle is not a soapy fragrance. The opening notes of Sandoz, it's mandarin orange and saffron. Both of these notes are present. The saffron comes in a bit later. The opening, it is not too spicy. It is more soapy than spicy. Then there is tuberose, peach blossom, and rose. This is a blend of floral notes. I couldn't say any one note is more pronounced than the other. The base is vanilla, patchouli, and suede. And the suede is supposed to give this a bit of a leathery accord. There is not a strong leathery accord in here. For those who like soapy fragrances, fragrances with a bit of a soapiness in the dry down, this would be one for you. Also, the patchouli does come very late in the dry down of this fragrance. It adds a hint of earthiness, but it is for me not enough. For me, this is a 6 from 10, and a 6 for me. It is generic, it is all right. Had I been able to sample this fragrance before I purchased it, I would most likely have not purchased this, because for me this is nothing very special. This one, it is called Kima. I think I'm saying it correctly. The packaging, the outside packaging is quite cute. It is like raised velvet, and this is the bottle. Guys, this is such a beautiful fragrance bottle. I bought this fragrance, I picked this up, and I really wanted this for the bottle. I really didn't care very much what the fragrance would be like. I looked at the notes and it looked like something I would like, but this was so inexpensive. I thought I would get it just for the bottle if I do not like the fragrance. This is so nice. And this is the sprayer on here. I was surprised for the price point of about 25 euros. I believe I paid for this. I have to be honest here, the sprayer, it is not as fine as the more expensive Lattafa fragrances. It's not bad, but it's not this very fine mist. The opening of this fragrance, it is almonds and coffee. This is not a gourmand fragrance. It is just listed as a floral fragrance for women. The opening, it is nothing that will blow you away. It smells more of almonds. The coffee note in the opening, it is very subdued. For the review, I am using a tissue because when this fragrance is sprayed on a testing swab, it remains quite closed, and it is not a very fair way to judge this fragrance, and it is best when sprayed on the skin. The almond aroma in the opening, it is more of, I would say, a bitter almond. It is not very foody. It is just a bitter, airy almond aroma. It's very pretty combined with the coffee. The coffee appears more towards the middle of this fragrance, which is tuberose, jasmine, and tonka. The heart note, it is a melange of these three notes, and the jasmine I would say is the most dominant note. However, this bitter almond note, it does still linger throughout, I would say, the life of this fragrance. And then the base is vanilla, sandalwood, and cacao. When we look at the notes in this fragrance, there is almond, there is coffee, there is tonka bean, there is cacao. One would think that this would be a very sweet gourmand fragrance. It is not. It is more of, I would say, a floral fragrance. It does have a slight touch of greenness, but I think this is the bitterness coming from the almond. When I smelled this on a paper swab, I was not so keen on it, but when I put this into daily use on the skin, it transforms much better. This is a very nice floral for the price point. and this beautiful bottle. This is definitely full bottle worthy. I am very happy I got this. The quality of the fragrance, it is, you can say, department store, and honestly this is not very generic. I am not sure if this fragrance is inspired by some other fragrance. I have not done a lot of research on this online, because this is not one of these fragrances I needed to allow to macerate. It was a nice fragrance the first time I sprayed it. This is very feminine. I have noticed that there is now a Kima for men, which has more lavender and masculine notes. I am looking at the notes for the male version of Kima, which is this one here. It is agarwood cedar in the opening, then lavender, sage and rosemary, and the base it is patchouli and vetiver. Sounds like a completely different fragrance altogether, composition, because the notes are totally different. From these three fragrances, this one is a super fragrance, Masamom White Intense. Kima is also nice. I'm in Saunders. I did not get along good with this one, but I am happy with a lot of the fragrances that I bought from Lattafa, so I am not so mad. I can always just gift Saunders to someone. Anyway guys, thanks for stopping by. Do not forget to subscribe. I need your support to get to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and hope to see you guys again soon on my channel. Ciao!